Tonight we are talking all about everybody's favorite punk Jedi kid, Ahsoka Tano. That's right. And especially the Legends version of Ahsoka that we get is primarily the younger Ahsoka. We don't get the wizened Ahsoka the White that we get in some of the more recent canon material. But we do get some Ahsoka and Legends. We're going to talk all about that tonight. I'm very excited about it. We have got some weird stuff queued up. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I had to consult none other than the great Trevor himself in order for some help on this episode. So if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. But it got me thinking, guys. Ahsoka and Anakin in the early seasons of the Clone Wars TV show, they had these cutesy little nicknames for each other, right? Snips and Sky Guy. And it got me thinking, have you guys ever had nicknames? Other than Spready Freddy, of course. That's a classic.
That's a classic. Freddy is a nickname, so that's my nickname.
Wait, hold on. It was a nickname the whole time?
Yes. It's my stage name, as they say. Stage name. But I was called Freddy Krueger growing up, so haunted the nightmares of children, I guess, was my pastime.
I almost said that Freddy was my nickname too, but I meant to say that my name is nickname too.
We should instead of Freddy, what'd you say, Freddy Krueger? We should call you Freddy Cougar. Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
different meaning in 2023.
I've got a nickname for Rick. I've got one.
Oh,
y'all ready for this?
good.
Give me the one. Ready?
Let me just hold on. Let me just preface that I've been bullied over the years by nicknames, so choose your words carefully, sir.
I suppose I hadn't thought about what else Rick might sound like, but I was going to give you one. Here's a good one. You tell all the kids in the schoolyard that this is what your friends call you. Ready for this? Where's my glasses?
I'm ready.
I got to rip these off in order for full effect. From now on, you will henceforth be known as Thick Rick.
Hey-o! I've been called worse, so I accept.
We can go with Slick Rick.
Slick Rick. That's good.
Yeah. Whenever we do the introduction game and I have to use an adjective, that has the first letter R, I go with Rowdy Rick. But you guys might be on something.
Slick Rick.
I always had a hard time with that game. In fifth grade, I absolutely froze on that game. Could not figure out one for my name, so I came up with, first day of school, mind you, Judging Jared.
Judging Jared. Could have gone Jesting Jared or
Joyful would have been a good
Joyful,
one.
yeah.
Jared. Nope, Judging. I let all those turds in fifth grade know where they stood with me.
Better than Jerk Jared, right?
Jerky Jared. I do like to chew on some meat sticks from time to time.
There you go.
Not death sticks. That's different.
Also means something different in 2023, but we'll move
Oh,
on.
come on. All right. So, what do you think? Any other nicknames we ought to throw out here? Let us know in the chat. What would be some good nicknames for us? Freddie C, of course, just hitting me after 134 episodes, Freddie. Never occurred to me that that's not on your birth certificate. Even though,
No.
I've actually written your real name before. I just never really thought about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yep. Thank you for that, Skooma.
Slimy and naked.
He is clothed tonight. Actually, Rick, I thought in honor of young Ahsoka, we all ought to show up in tanginis tonight, with our shirts pulled up halfway.
Mine is. You just can't see it on the camera.
Yeah, same. It's the party up front, business, in the back.
Get a six-pack, everything down there.
Man, the Ahsoka hat I should have worn, but I forgot about it. And it's like in the garage or something, so.
Well, we are excited, of course, to talk all about, for the first time ever, 134 episodes of Legends Look Back. We've never really talked much about Ahsoka at all. And I'm very excited for it. So, without further ado, Thick Rick, let's
Slick Rick.
start the show.
Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Legends Lookback, proudly part of the Utini Podcast Network. This is a Star Wars books podcast for people who like to shoot sky dancers at their friends' faces, where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays. That's my one and only name. We're not going to get into my nickname, which on the football team, they called me the Purple Perp for a while. That's a long story.
Yikes.
Judging
but
Jared, the purple
I
perp.
am tonight just Jared Mays, joined tonight by the sharpest dressed man in the galaxy himself, Freddie C.
Yeah, well, today just standard Star Wars in concert shirt. Nothing too crazy. Not too sharp today. More of a relaxing day. We're taking this time to read our books because we've got it. We're about to start a book club here, right? Right, Jared? We've got. What's coming up? We've got some good books coming up, and that's all I'm doing.
That's right.
Reading.
If you're following along at home, you want to get some reading done so that you can follow along with our upcoming roundtables. We're about to be starting some of the Hand of Thrawn duology. Very excited to be diving into some of the thickest books, just like Rick likes them, the thickest books in the galaxy. The what are they called? Spectre of the Future and Vision of the
Past?
Hand. Yeah, those are the names are just weird enough where I can never remember those.
Nice.
Everybody, run to your shelves, grab the books.
Yes.
Let's come back and get the names
The
right.
Thrawn duology.
The Thrawn
That's all I
duology,
needed.
the Hand of Thrawn duology, the Blue
Yeah,
Hand.
Thrawn.
I'm joined not
Where's
only
it-
tonight by Freddie C, but also from Mustafar, Rick Race.
Hey, and I'm not wearing anything cool. I'm just wearing a blue shirt. It's from Target.
It's nice.
Thank you. Good
I
colors.
did see something really cool. I had to post this in the Discord. Our friend Emma, who's guested a number of times on Legends Look Back, she got a replica, totally original, never replicated red Millennium Falcon shirt, except for it's the ghost from
Oh.
Rebels. So that's pretty cool. Got to give me one of those. Like it a lot. Well, but that's canon. We're not talking about that stuff tonight. We are talking about Ahsoka, however, but only her Legends origins. Tonight, we're going to talk all about Ahsoka. We got the new TV show. We're not talking about the TV show. We've been informed. Can't talk about it. Why? People in Hollywood can't get their act together and give each other the right amount of money. How much is the right amount of money? They don't know. They can't figure it out. They're going to try to come to some sort of an agreement. In the meantime, we're going to talk about some very, very obscure stories about everybody's favorite brain-tailed Jedi Padawan, Ahsoka Tano. Guys, when Ahsoka hit the airwaves, when she hit the TV screens on Cartoon Network back in the day, it was controversial.
Yes.
What were your initial reactions when Ahsoka first landed on the big screen?
I took the creatives' guidance in the hold off. You know what? I remember even thinking, I was like, I'm not going to regret holding off judgment until I get to know this character. So I held Dave Filoni. He said, hold judgment, just, keep as neutral as you can and just see what happens. And I was pleasantly surprised at how it all turned out, honestly. It was exactly how it was supposed to be, which was lighthearted at the beginning until things got darker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone thought the lightheartedness was the main thing, and it's like, come on, do you not know how stories are told? Come on, everyone, catch up.
No. I wasn't smart enough back then. I could not figure that out. I did not withhold judgment. I said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I did not go see the movie. I did not watch the TV show until college, in which case my best friend, Carrie Verner, shout out to Carrie. Carrie was like, dude,
Carrie.
You're sleeping on this show. It's fantastic. You're going to love it. I said, nope, not going to do it. One day I was ironing. I was bored, turned it on the iPad, watched all 6 seasons in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's how it goes. What about you, Rick? Ahsoka, yes or no,
Yeah.
back in 2008?
I didn't know about it in 2008. I was ignorant of all EU anything. If it wasn't in the movies, I didn't know what it was. And so I didn't get into the Clone Wars until after college. At first I was like, what? A Padawan? This is annoying. And so I didn't like her until I'm not exactly sure when, but definitely it took me a few episodes to really get get a feel for okay, all right, and then that's just one of my
Yeah.
favorite characters. So like completely, changed my opinion. So
Jared, believe it or not, a majority of my opinions formed from a podcast you and I used to listen to, where they would bring
Yeah,
on Dave
they used to
Filoni.
interview Ashley a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, both of them. And being part of the Rancho Obi-Wan group and it being so close to Skywalker Ranch, of course, Filoni would show up and talk about it in person, and you could tell he knew where she was
Hold
going.
on. You've had dinner with Dave Filoni?
Yeah, I even saw him switch from a Penguins baseball cap to his cowboy hat. So I saw
that's
that.
ugh.
How does that feel,
hey.
Rick?
I love Dave
Oh,
Filoni,
man.
but I hate his taste in hockey teams.
I could
But
not care less
that's
about
it.
hockey. So you just have your opinions over there, and I watch you have the opinions, and I'm like,
It's fine, judgy Jared.
what's
You
that
just
like?
mind your
Yeah.
own business. And
All right, y'all want to hear a real judgy opinion?
Yes.
This is gonna get me canceled.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
There was a point in time a few years ago where I made a list. I've still got the note I could show you, like my favorite Star Wars characters of all time, and Ahsoka was in my top 10. I think I had just finished doing a rewatch of Clone Wars and a rewatch of Rebels. That was a few years ago. As of the past few months, I kind of think that Ahsoka broke Star Wars. I kind of think that she was a mistake. And maybe the show will change my mind and I'll come back around. I kind of feel like, or at least maybe this much. A lesser opinion is they never should have brought her back. If you haven't watched Rebels, might spoil something here.
What?
They, maybe should have just had Vader do her in and ended it there. And I kind
Interesting.
of think that now we're sitting in canon wise, and we can save this for another podcast. I kind of think that storytelling wise, they've opened up a can of worms and they need to stuff Ahsoka back in the can. But this is a controversial opinion.
It's
realize
controversial, but it's not like it's not crazy.
Nah, it's not crazy. It's not crazy.
I think though that the character of Ahsoka serves her point. The whole point of her was they needed a flexible character that they could create out of nothing that was in the movies and provide a whole blank canvas of where her story was going to go.
And not just that, but Dave Filoni is doing some big things at Disney, and they're like, hey, Dave Filoni, you're doing some big things at Disney. What's your idea? Ahsoka, right? I mean, it's his character.
That's part of the problem for me, Freddie, is that he's like, yeah, I've got this one toy, and that's the only toy I want to play with. And sometimes they're like, Dave, why don't you play with this? We've got a whole bin full of Power Rangers toys over there. And he's like, no, I got this one. And she can ride a wolf. Why not? It's no. I feel like it's gotten a little bit overboard, but we'll see. I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm going to watch the show. I'm sure I'm going to love it, and I'll eat my words.
It's a good one.
But I see in the chat we've already stirred up a real can of worms. We got some folks chatting. We got some folks saying like, I don't know. Skuma's, it looks like Skuma's in agreement with me that, maybe it wasn't right to put her in stories beyond the Clone War era. That's kind of how I feel. But the good news about the rest of the show tonight is we're going to be talking exclusively about Legends Clone War era stories with Ahsoka, and we've got Rancors. That's right. We've got Rancors. Exclusive reveal right here on Legends Lookback, a story I guarantee not a single one of you on the internet has ever read before, except for Trevor. We're going to reveal the time that Ahsoka battled a friggin' Rancor with her lightsabers. And it's a Legends comic. I had never heard of it until this week. I'm very excited to unveil it. But first, Rick, we've got a special guest that we haven't let in tonight. Are we ready to hear from our special guest?
Yeah, sure. All right.
This is exciting
we've been
stuff.
Sitting on this for a while, but now's as good a time as any. So
should we preface it real quick?
Sure.
Jared?
Yeah. Freddie, explain it. Who do we have here?
So
what's the deal?
we had to get our tendrils out there, our feelers, trying to find new folks, new guests for Legends Look Back, right? And just asking people at this point, asking everybody, what is your favorite Legends book? Anyone who's familiar, and I think we can just show the video of our special guest.
Sounds good.
Hello,
That's right.
everyone. My
This
name's Ahsoka. My most favorite Star Wars book of all time, Truce Bakura, featuring me, Ahsoka.
Ahsoka
If
Tano
you
sounds
are-
just like me.
That's
If
weird.
you're an audio listener, I'm sorry. First of all, that Rick just coughed in your freaking face, but also
Yeah,
that
that's what happened.
you can't quite see the visual gag that we had there, which is Freddy somehow augmented his beautiful bearded face into Ahsoka's head
A
tails.
beautiful bearded Ahsoka.
His Togruta form.
Somebody online saw that video and said, "Bearded Ahsoka can't hurt you. She is not real." Freddie, how'd you even do that, man?
The magic of AI.
Oh yeah. Was it like it's probably like was it either on the Disney app or the Star Wars app, or was it on like Instagram?
Believe it or not, it was on Snapchat.
Ah, of course. Snapchat, the master of filters.
I've
never
got
touched
an Amazon Alexa right in front of me, and it said, "Hey, oh look, she's about to go off.
I was gonna say,
Alexa,
she's
please
listening
cancel." I'm not going to say the A word anymore. Sorry.
Yeah,
so I
hey,
asked
keep it clean on this
said-
podcast, buddy.
I asked said robot to, what's going on today, and it gave me, oh hey, we track every move that you make, and we noticed that you love Star Wars. And hey, by the way, there's all these cool things. And I just clicked it. I was like, here we go. This is happening right now. And I looked at myself, laughed, and then I saw that there was a Truce at Bakura behind me.
Of course.
And it just flowed from there. There's no script. It just happened. So
The funny thing in that video for our audio listeners is not only did Freddy augment his own face into the head tails, but he augmented Carrie Fisher's beautiful face off of the cover of the Truce at Bakura to look like Ahsoka. It's truly haunting.
I wasn't expecting that. That just happened.
Oh yeah,
Really-
that's always the best part.
Really makes
Not
the
gonna
video
lie,
great.
It's one of my favorite things to do is that filter in Snapchat that makes their eyes, all big and the
Oh yeah.
goofy face, and just do that to movies and just play clips of movies back with that filter on. I don't know, it changes everything. It's fun.
But you
What if
heard
I
it here
told you-
first. Ahsoka loves Truce at Bakura.
Somehow. Somehow. Actually, the funny thing is I've never once in my entire life touched Snapchat. I don't know how it works. I don't like it. I don't understand it.
You shouldn't
And
like it.
I never
It's
will
trash.
because
Yeah.
in the words of Yoda, I'm too old. All right, let's move on. How does Ahsoka color your perception of Anakin? Before we unveil the great Legends masterpieces that we've got to talk about tonight, such as the webcomics, also some graphic novels, also some Choose Your Destiny stories. I mean, some real heavy hitters tonight, guys.
Yeah. I always
how
imagined
does-
Ahsoka would
how does
use
Ahsoka-
watercolors or pencils.
That's
That's a good one. It's a good one,
Yeah.
Derek.
How does
Thank
she
you,
color
thank you.
your perception of Anakin?
Yep.
There's some good ones. Great. Love that, Rick. Good answer.
Yep.
That's a good
I'm
answer.
sorry.
That's a good one. Rick, do
Uh,
you want to take it first after that cool joke?
Yeah, sure. All right, so I kind of had a weird, I didn't know the relationship between Ahsoka and Anakin for a while. It was almost flirty at times in the Clone Wars, and so I was like, "What the heck's going on?" I didn't like it. And then once I kind of realized, okay, this is supposed to be master Padawan, but more brother sister kind of relationship.
It's like playful
was-
with charisma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I became cool with it, but it fleshes out a side of Anakin we don't see otherwise. Him have to care for somebody who is somewhat dependent on him, who he gets to be part of her growth and development, and some of the tragic stuff that happens in Clone Wars to Ahsoka, it really helps flesh out Anakin's, distancing from the Jedi Council and the Jedi way, really. So I think she adds a lot to his character.
And in Legends, there is no after that. There's just the tragedy, end of a story. And for me, that actually works better, I think.
Just wait till you hear some of the ideas I've got cooking.
No, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think the new stuff they've done with Ahsoka is interesting, but definitely the tragedy informs Anakin's fall to the dark side. From a certain point of view, of course. How about you, Freddie?
Yeah, this one's interesting. So looking at the perspective of me, we're going back in time. Uh, what is it? 2008? Was it 2008 when she was introduced?
Yeah.
Okay, so in 2008, uh, knowing what I knew about Star Wars, right? You know everything. You know the fall. You know all the negative stuff. You know the redemption after that. It looking at Ahsoka, I felt like, oh man, she has no idea what's actually happening in this universe, right? And no one really truly does. They're just fighting a bunch of clankas, right? Like that's it. But once the dark side becomes more prominent, and you can see it in Anakin, once it becomes more prominent, she becomes more grown up. And she does definitely have that brother sister role with Anakin. I'm not even sure. I'm almost positive she had an idea that him and Padme were dating and stuff, almost closer than Obi-Wan because she can't really do anything in return. That's her master, and you don't really betray your master. It's a different perspective, but it showed, in my opinion, how unready the Jedi were for the coming threat that would eventually wipe them all out, except for a few key members. But uh, it's like this naivete. Is that what I'm looking for? This naive attitude towards life and fighting, and like there were times when Anakin, it's like it's not about that, Ahsoka. Like you got to get serious, because Anakin knew what was at stake, which was the galaxy basically, and
Yeah.
but seeing the progression of Ahsoka getting more serious and more, parts where she may have lost her life, and it, I think those learning moments were the one that gave her the attitude of like, I gotta fight for this because, just because of this association that she was kicked out of, uh, that she saw the in my opinion, she saw how the Jedi failed, which kind of makes me like her a bit more because she was kind of excommunicated from the community for doing the right thing, in my opinion. But that's how it is.
Love it when you use big words like excommunicated, Freddie. Speaks right to my love of complicated church terms. We're
Or
going to get into it
judginess.
tonight. We got and the judginess. The judginess is on full display tonight. I'll tell you what. With Ahsoka, I'm like looking down my nose, like get these kids off my lawn. That's kind of how I feel about Ahsoka. But I've got two little girls, and they both love Ahsoka. And for them, like a Star Wars is two things: Ahsoka and Baby Yoda. And boy, I sure hope that we can break out of that one of these days. But I think that's the case for a lot of kids. That is Star Wars.
It's a
And
good marketing tactic for the younger generation, right?
well,
It works.
and beyond that, I'm glad that like little girls like and they love and relate to Ahsoka. And beyond that, I mean, anybody can, but at least in my experience, that's been the case, and I'm grateful for that. Whatever it takes to get them to love Star Wars with me, I will accept. Now, being a character that's very loved by little girls, she is a very bright and colorful character, and for that reason, I'm going to posit a theory. Other than the animated TV shows, I might argue that the best medium in which to encounter Ahsoka is comics. And we're going to talk about some of those comics tonight. As far as I can tell, Ahsoka is featured heavily in one and only one adult Legends novel. Guys, without looking at the show notes, can you think about what it is? What, and hey, live chatters, let me know. Do you know what it is? What is the one and only one adult Legends novel that heavily features Ahsoka?
I feel like,
And I say
know
heavily
this one.
because I can't remember if she's like name dropped in a couple others or not.
Okay, so the author is the same author for the Clone Wars, the clone books. What's her name?
You're getting
Karen.
That one.
Speaking of
That's her name, Karen Travis. Right? She wrote
Judginess.
something. What was it called?
Wow. I was going a
Maybe
different direction.
Let's see here. I'm trying to look it up on the Wook. Oh, and it took me to Amazon instead, so it looks like I'm buying it now. So
Nice. That's how it goes sometimes. Looks like Jared is frozen, but at least he's
Oh.
happy.
yeah. Okay, so I believe it looks like even though the lightning is close to my house, Jared is getting affected through the interwebs.
Look at that happy face.
He's just so excited to be here right now. Look at him
Yeah.
talking about Ahsoka, and he's gone. All right, so the first Legends book. Let's see if anyone in the chat knows what it is. Let's see, Skooma Joe there. He said, "You want to bring that one up?"
Yeah. Wild Space? Question mark.
Not
I don't know.
Not quite.
Is that it?
Off the top of my head, I've labeled Wild Space as I don't. That's not the one I'm referring to, but it's a contender. There's a chance that she is. I
Okay.
don't really remember. I don't think
Okay.
she's she at the most is kind of an ancillary character.
Yeah, like a honorable mention, if anything.
What
Yeah,
about
that's
the
right.
Clone Wars novelization?
Well,
Now this one, I'm gonna be honest, Isgul, you kind of stumped me on this because I don't know that I was counting that as like a full-fledged Legends book because it's an adaptation.
My guess. True. My guess was Revenge of the Sith, but I think she's only like mentioned in there like once, if at all.
Yeah,
That was
I don't
2005, right?
I don't know if she. Was
yeah, I don't think
mentioned
she
yet.
existed.
Maybe not.
All right, here it is. By my count, and like I could be wrong. It's Clone Wars No Prisoners by Karen Travis. No Prisoners. In fact, this is like a Rex and Ahsoka book for much of the plot.
Yeah,
And what's
you're
really
right.
interesting about this is a really odd blend of like what's now canon and Legends characters interacting in a book, and probably like the weirdest alternate timeline kind of Twilight Zone Legends book ever.
I'm telling you, Legends is just a different reality.
It's
of the
got
Star Wars timeline.
It's got Gilad Pelion as a main character. Who's like an OG Thrawn character. You've got Ahsoka as a main character, Rex, and Ahsoka actually in this book gets taken in by what's like they're like a culty kind of
Love cults.
not a nudist colony, but like what's the word for
Almost
something
gonna get better, but
what's the word for a group that's like a nudist colony, but they're not nude, they're just weird?
non-nude colony.
Oh man, this is like a
Hippies.
yeah, like the cut.
Yeah.
starts with a C or something like
Convent.
that.
Covert?
Convent.
What's the word I'm looking for here?
Coven.
Well,
coven.
that's different.
It's getting
I
weird.
don't know what that means.
Help. Convent.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Joe
What-
says.
maybe.
We'll go with that.
I'm not 100% sure what that is, but
Bunch of dirty hippies.
Help.
there's a rogue group of Jedi that travel around on a ship, and there's a master named Din Altus, Altus. Anyway, I'm just going off the top of my head here. Rick says, "Do we have a safe word? I need a safe word." Yeah, if we get too far off script here, there's a group of Jedi who, in like the Old Republic era, prequel era, they go around and they marry, they like have relationships and children, and Ahsoka ends up bumping into them, and Callista, Luke's future Jedi computer girlfriend, is there, hanging out with Ahsoka. It's
Computer
weird, guys.
girlfriend.
All right. So, yep, we'll come back to that later. I'll come back
Torrent
to that.
Company's Captain Rex agrees to temporarily relieve Anakin Skywalker of Ahsoka. That's what it says in the book.
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
that's, as far as I know, the only adult Legends novel with Ahsoka, and it's got Gilad Pelion, it's got Callista. I mean, it's got everything. I feel like Stefan from SNL. It's got everything, right? But she's also in a bunch of comics. Guys, let's talk about
Oh, yeah.
if you're wondering who the computer Jedi girlfriend is, you got to go and read Barbara Hambly's Planet of Twilight, the Callista trilogy. And have fun. Good luck. Moving on. Let's talk about the comics. Guys, you guys know about the Filoni comic? The very first issue of the
yeah.
Clone Wars limited series ran for 12 issues. Came out in 2008, I believe. The very first issue of this, the cover is drawn by none other than Dave Filoni himself. You guys know about this? Rick, pull up
Yes.
the picture of this thing.
It's a
This
beautiful
thing-
cover.
Which one is it?
Thing is worth well over $1,000.
Yeah. Just to give you some insight here,
I might
cover
have labeled it.
price. Oh yeah, there it is. That's it right there. It's a nice nice drawing there from Filoni. Yeah. So on this website I'm looking on, gocollect.com, the cover price was $2.99. Okay. So $2.99
back in the day.
Originally, yes. Publication date August 31st, 2008. Artist, of course, Dave Filoni. The 1 year average of a 9.6 rated comic book, $1,021.
Yeah. This thing is one of the most valuable comics of all time. Oh no, Skooma Joe! Skooma says I had that issue, but I gave it to my cousin as a kid. If I had only known. F's in the chat for Skooma Joe, everybody. F's in the chat.
Skooma Joe's is probably rated about $850 now. So Skooma, we're gonna give you a big ol' F just for you.
That's sad.
Yeah,
that is sad. But this one, as far as I believe, this series was like an adaptation of the TV shows. Now I could be wrong on that. I'd like to check these out. Believe it or not, I don't own this issue physically, so I gotta go check out the local comic book store.
There's some eBay options
or
for them, you know.
How's he looking?
Comicsology, maybe.
Looking there, Rick?
There's some buy it nows for $750.
Ooh,
But some bids around $100.
How many days left?
7.
Just recently, in with the High Republic #1, there was an homage variant cover that was a recreation of this using some of the High Republic characters, and that one is like almost as valuable as this. It's one of the rarest, most recent canon comics. It's the only version of High Republic #1 I didn't get my hands on. And it's worth over $350 now. It's expensive. Never got it. Too bad. Skooma says that comic arc was about the Zygerian slavers, and it was later adapted into an arc for the TV show. Oh, okay. So started as a comic arc, then was adapted, changed heavily. That checks out with the research I was doing this week. Speaking of research, we've got some other stuff to talk about, guys. Rick, lead us off here with Shipyards of Doom. There are a handful of Ahsoka-related junior graphic novels starring Ahsoka, one of which we're going to talk about in deep detail. But first, Rick, Shipyards of Doom. Tell the good folks what this is.
Okay, so this came out in 2008. It's by Henry Gilroy, and art on this series was done by, what is that, Philbach Brothe? Or Brothers, there he goes.
Yeah, it's just me and my brother.
Wow.
Brothers.
I'm sorry. What are those?
There's a lot of exotic words in the show notes. That's not one of them.
Dude, I've been sick all week. I'm like dying over here.
That's a good one. That was a good one, Rick. You're making some bangers on this show so far.
Man. All right, so yeah. Let's hear what the
My brother in Christ, would you please read this description?
Yeah, here we go. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh no, now the tears are coming and it's salty and it hurts.
The salty tears, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, while Rick catches his breath here, it says Karen Travis is a #1 New York Times bestselling author. That's cool. Didn't know that.
All right, here we go. This is Shipyards of Doom. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker lead an elite clone trooper strike force to destroy the Separatists' most important shipyards. But when the enemy is tipped off of their plan, the two Jedi heroes are forced to rely on help from Anakin's new and still wet behind the ears Padawan, Ahsoka. But what can she do against the droid armies of General Grievous? Yikes. So, in my defense, y'all, the way that the screen is laid out, it was broken. And so there's literally like another line to see the RS there. Okay.
Excuses.
Yikes.
Well, there's several of these in this young reader kind of a junior graphic novel series. Why is it that all of the Ahsoka Legends content is so extremely obscure? It's like choose your own adventure books and then web comics and I think it was all just supposed to tie into the Clone Wars TV show, so they made it accessible for children.
Yeah.
That's my best theory. I'll tell you a little bit about one of the other ones of these junior graphic novels, Crash Course. This is also by Henry Gilroy. Now, he went on to write on Star Wars Rebels. Henry Gilroy did. So Henry Gilroy wrote this in December of 2008. Here's the description. In the latest galaxy-spanning Clone Wars adventure, Anakin S. Skywalker and his young... I know, I just did the same thing Rick did. It got caught on the line.
Skywalker.
Anakin S.
Anakin...
What is that middle name?
Sam. Anakin Sam Skywalker and his young Padawan Ahsoka Tano go undercover in the cutthroat world of pod racing. Now, this is pod racing.
It's probably a Shane.
In hopes of crushing a diabolical separatist spy ring. Watch out, Jedi. Speed kills. I did not write that description. That was from the publisher. Blame them. I like this cover, and sounds really cool to get Ahsoka and Anakin both pod racing. I got to check this out.
That is cool.
But Freddie, there is one of these
yeah.
that is especially notable, and that is the Wind Raiders of Talaran. I read this today. Guys, I've got it. Freddie gave it, Trevor gave it to me. I'll show it to you after the show. This thing is capital E epic. This is one of the finest Star Wars comics I have ever read.
Wow.
No cap, as the kids say. Freddie, tell the good folks about Wind Raiders of Talaran.
Well, if you can guess who the author is this the author? I think it's the author, yeah. John Ostrander, right? There was nothing in the way there, just cut as well.
But
sorry, guys.
John
I'm just making
Ostrander
it up
is one of
for Rick here.
He's one of the greatest Legends comics writers of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, he wrote the
John
Legacy
Ostrander.
series and Republic.
That's right.
He's one of the goats.
Yeah, and this came out in 2009. So the summary here is Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka travel to the planet Talaran in hopes of gaining some useful allies for the Galactic Republic. But the two ruling groups in the planet are not particularly interested in making a treaty. The Denfrandi are already more sympathetic towards the Separatists, and the Wind Raiders are simply unfriendly to everyone. It may be merely impossible for this mission... hold on. It may be merely impossible mission for the Jedi. A merely impossible... Okay, there we go. Sorry.
You got this,
Or
Freddie.
one that might end in disaster. Ahsoka gets bored with diplomacy, goes sleuthing, ends up in way over her head, and rides around on huge space eagles.
That's right.
That
Look at this
sounds-
big space eagle. It's beautiful.
Big space eagles.
Now,
Cool.
we've got a couple more shots of this particular run that I want to show the folks. The art by the was it Phil Bach-Brothe? Was that right, Rick?
That's the one. Yep. His German.
It's very much like a Legends Junior comic of the time. So you've got to put yourself kind of in that frame of mind to enjoy it. But there's some really cool stuff that they did with this series. What's amazing to me is that there's an Ahsoka story written by John Ostrander, quite possibly the greatest Legends Legends comics writer of all time, quite possibly. And I feel like nobody knows about this. This has got some great quips. I mean, it's really well written, fantastically written. At one point, I'll leave it at this. You got to go discover it on the internet. The last line of this series is Ahsoka making like a kind of funny one-liner, and that's the end. Rick, show some of the good folks some images here from Wind Raiders of Talaran. I think we've got a couple queued up.
Do we have
This thing is
an artist?
spectacular. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how bored
Oh,
she
yeah.
is with diplomacy. Read those
Nice.
read those speech bubbles for us, guys.
Let's see here. It says, not exceed, nor by less than the blah, 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 shall blah, blah, nevertheless, the blah, 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 never blah, blah, blah,
It's just-
blah, blah.
That's
all
great
right.
writing by John Ostrander right there.
Yeah.
And then look at this. Look at this art
Yeah,
by the
this is
Brothes
awesome.
themselves.
They brothers.
She's like, what is she doing? A gainer off of a Star Destroyer
Uh-huh.
There you go.
on the
pretty
back
cool.
of
A
a
stone cold stunner.
space whale?
Sure.
It's awesome. That's
Yeah,
some good.
It's really cool. It's a great series. Go check this out. It's about 100 pages long. If you're having trouble finding it, hit me up in Discord, and we'll help you get your hands on it. So Wind Raiders of Talaran, I would say, should be in your short list of looking for Legends Ahsoka titles. You know what probably isn't on the short list is the young reader books. These are mostly choose your destiny stories.
Mhm.
It's like, have y'all ever done the like second person choose your own adventure stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Freddie, I think we did a show about it at one point.
we did. Not to.
There's a few of these about Ahsoka. We're not going to
Yeah.
get into them tonight.
We should read one
But-
one time. Just a little fall leader adventure, a couple pages.
Yeah, as a game, we'll do it. But for tonight, there's a couple other things worth shouting out. There's, as we've mentioned, some web comics. The couple that feature Ahsoka, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, don't really feature her heavily. There's one called Shakedown and another called Transfer. These basically, like, set up the like TV episodes, and they were done on StarWars.com. These little web comics, they were like 8 pages long. They're now almost impossible to find. This is just really obscure legend stuff here. Very, very, very Trevor. So I'm sure you're going to hear more about that on the Star Wars archive sometime soon. These are collected, if you're looking for them, in a volume called Tales from the Clone Wars. But finally, guys, let's get to the big ticket item, Ahsoka and the Rancors. We promised Rancors. Let's show
Let's
the good
promise
folks
Rancors.
Rancors.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do the Rancors. This comes from the Star Wars UK series. There was from Titan Magazine, same ones that make Star Wars Insider. There was a series of exclusive UK exclusive magazines that featured Clone Wars comics back in the late 2000s. One of those stories is called Prize Contender.
Oh my!
And in this one, Ahsoka and Anakin end up in an illegal Rancor gladiatorial arena on Coruscant. Look at these guys. Ahsoka dueling these Rancors. You ever seen anything so cool in your life?
Oof.
They're
I mean,
interesting.
There was that one time Luke fought a Rancor, but it's fine. This is 2, so
That's right. And
These
one of them
are,
is named Old One Eye or Old Plug Eye or Old Eye Patch.
Plug
It's
Eye.
got a goofy name like that.
Old one eye.
one eye. Yeah.
The style is very interesting. It looks like.
Oh yeah, there it is.
You know-
Oh no, old one eye.
Oh no!
I told you.
Old one eye. Yeah, so they look incredibly stylized, right?
Bad Rancor, put me down.
Very very like sketchy, quick drawings.
Mhm.
Very really cool art. I'd love to see. I feel like when you go to Disneyland, you go into one of those shops, like the high end shops with all the art. You can watch them do their quick sketches, and it looks similar to this. So
Mhm.
Hey,
Interesting.
important comment here from Skooma Joe. Very important. Cutting edge stuff. He says, why are you
Whoops.
guys pronouncing Rancors correctly? What happened to
Yeah.
Rancors?
Rankers. Yep.
nice little rankers you got there.
And we have a smart aleck in the show who says it's Ranke.
Well, if you like Rancors, the good news is, I think it's next week. I need to double check the calendar. We've got none other than Doctor and CEO, Admiral of the Galaxy, Corey Hilton, joining us here.
I
to talk
object.
about-
Does
What's
not
that?
deserve that title. Admiral, man. It's reserved. It's reserved.
For the Thrawn.
He's going to be on Legends Look Back to talk about Knights of the Old Republic. In which case,
Okay.
you at one point have to poison a Rancor with illegal drugs, and
Huh.
Corey is going to tell us all about those drugs next week.
Excited.
Probably. I think
Drugs.
it's next week.
Cool.
So very excited about that. Anyway, this one's really cool. I encourage everybody to try to track this down. Prize Contender from Clone Wars, Volume 6, Issue 11 from 2010. And if you can't find it, let me know. We'll help. We'll try to help you find it. Ahsoka and Anakin, they find an illegal Rancor gladiatorial arena, the underlevels of Coruscant, and spoiler alert, they arrest everyone. All the spectators, they're like, you're all going to jail, like Oprah.
Oh man.
Space
Oh, yeah.
Go to
Oprah
jail.
in a gladiatorial arena. You go to jail. Everybody goes
Yeah.
to jail. You know who's not going to jail? Any of our beautiful listeners who might be
That's right.
wondering, how could I find something like to scratch that Ahsoka itch in Legends that's like perhaps a little bit more mainstream? Let's go around the horn, guys, before we wrap it up here tonight. It does not have to be about Ahsoka, but like something in the vein of why people like Ahsoka, what would be your recommendation and why?
I feel like
Don't you say Truce at Bakura, Freddy.
if you like strong female leads, there's a book I know called Truce at Bakura. If you like female Jedi, right? Jaina Solo, you can find some of the NJO, New Jedi Order books. You
Yeah.
start there.
And Tahiri in that series, it's got like that kind of tragic story. I won't spoil it, but there's a lot of tragedy from like a teenage girl Jedi apprentice that is oddly kind of similar to Ahsoka in some ways, but also nothing like it. So, sure. I endorse that recommendation in a weird way.
All right. You want me to go ahead and give you my what I've been sitting on for a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. So I've got an Ahsoka story generator that I've made, and Jared, he gave us a few prompts. He wanted us to think of what was it? The sidekick, their opponents, their story, and who would be written by.
But yeah.
right.
We didn't quite finish this question first, which was like, what would be your rec if you like Ahsoka and you wanted another Legends book? Let me give two more real quick before we play the game.
Okay.
Two more in this vein before Rick is really eager to play the game.
I'm so excited.
If you like Ahsoka, want something Legendsy, there's not a ton in Legends. You've already read No Prisoners. Two more that I might recommend are Maul Shadowhunter, which Darsha is like a young, scrappy Ahsoka-like Padawan. And Maul is also in Clone Wars, so you can kind of get those vibes as well. And then in Yoda Dark Rendezvous, recent Legends, Essential Legends book, there's a scrappy young Padawan named Scout, who she's got some Ahsoka in her. We'll put it that way. So those are our recommendations in that vein. Rick, you're dying to play the game. You've got graphics.
Let's
play the game.
The gun. Let's play the game.
You're good.
So here's your sidekick chooser.
In this game,
to stop.
The idea is this. Let's explain it a little bit more. The idea is if you could dream up a Legendsy story that features Ahsoka, something that doesn't exist, we're writing it right here live on the show.
It's gonna be great.
Fun.
Who would she team up with?
Okay.
Who would she face off against? What's the plot of the story? And finally, who is the author? Who writes the story? Rick found himself. He started playing with the graphics. We're gonna send people into a seizure if we're not careful. So
tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
All right, Figrin Dan is going to be Ahsoka's sidekick on this journey or this story. Let's see. They're going to be facing off against. Got some choices here.
All right. The choices are Bosk, Dengar, and Forlom, Evil Clone, Landon Calrissian,
Landu.
Oh, okay. Salacious Bikram, Exar Kun, Grand Moff Tarkin, Evil Kip Duran, and Queen Mother Tachum. Stop.
Exar Kun, of course.
So,
of course.
Ahsoka teams up with Figrin Dan against Exar Kun.
And let's see what plot archetype we're going to be choosing for this story. I think we're, of course, going to go on the hero's journey. Of course, it has to be. It has to be the hero's journey.
Figrin Dan's discovery.
I
don't know.
Hero's Journey pizza.
Yeah, I don't know. It's random.
Okay.
Okay. What about we could do a voyage and return. That would be fun too, right?
We should do a romance.
Let's see, a romance. I didn't even think about that with Figrin Dan.
No thanks,
Exar Kun.
Against Exar Kun, yeah. And then this is going to be written by none other than.
Hit that wheel. We've got Joe Schreiber on the screen, Matthew Stover, James Lucino, John Jackson Miller. Who could it be? Drew Karpyshyn?
It's the master George Lucas. He's going to write it for us. That's fitting, right? That's fitting.
Oh, man. What would that be about?
That's fantastic. Way to go, Rick.
Exar Kun.
That was less exciting than I anticipated, but it's fine.
No, I loved it. That was great.
I'd love to see it happen.
Man,
It'd
I
be
want to go
awesome.
back though, because there were some good ones there that didn't quite come to fruition.
Nope.
I want to see Ahsoka and Callista. That'd be a fun pair,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
Could work.
That's right. So you can check out No Prisoners. Go on over to utini.com. Type No Prisoners in the search bar. Click that Amazon link. Or hey, go on over to eBay and try to find yourself a hardcover of this thing for $300 because this thing is hard to find.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed the new Ahsoka show. We're not going to talk a whole lot more about it. Let's hope those folks in Hollywood straighten out their stuff. But that will do it for tonight. Remember, be reading the Thrawn duology if you want to join us for our next roundtable. Hope to see you next Tuesday night. Move to Tuesday nights if you want to join us live at 8:30 p.m. Central. Thanks to our incredible patrons for your support. Thanks for joining us here for Legends Look Back. A special thank you to Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Carl Sanders, Zach W, Michael Fry, and Raymond Bazinski on our Jedi High Council, as well as James T, Ashley Ingalls, Colton 5, Chris Carrizo, Sally, and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command for their amazing support. If you would like your thoughts read on the show, you can find our contact information down in the description below. Remember, everybody, to leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. Sub to the channel. Hit that little like button on YouTube. It helps other folks find the show. It helps us, feel good about ourselves. We can sleep at night. There's also that. Remember, everybody, keep the Utini fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. Until next time, may the force be with you.